Good morning to you all, and I greet you on this Remembrance Sunday, a day when we usually gather in great numbers throughout the country to honour and give thanks for those many people that gave their lives as a sacrifice that we can live in freedom. It will seem strange this year not to hear in person the last post being played, that haunting melody that calls us to silence, and the words being spoken that we're so familiar with, the exhortation, "They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them." And we do exactly that this day. We remember them. And we think about the sacrifice that they made for our freedom, and some of them left home, never returning, never speaking to their family again. We find ourselves in this crisis of COVID-19, but we have this way to communicate even when we can't see each other in person. We are blessed with communication. It's impossible for me to imagine what it was like for that generation sending their men off to war, knowing that likely many of them would not return. And that reminded me of the words from John chapter 15 and verse 13, when Jesus said, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends." Well, many people laid down their lives not just for their friends, but for people and generations that they would never know. We are reminded in the Kahima epitaph, those words that we would be familiar with. "When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today." And in this world, I couldn't help but think of the many, many NHS staff and key workers and employees throughout our country who have continued to put themselves at risk to make sure that our country is looked after as best we can. We find ourselves just coming to the end of a lockdown in Wales, and yet we still need to take care. Just as we have been asked to take care of our country in light of the sacrifice of many before us. So the words of Mark Drakeford early this week came home to me, and I want us to think about this, not only about the situation with COVID, but in every part of our lives. As we're heading towards coming out of lockdown and trying to set the new parameters, Mark Drakeford said these words, "It is not what can we do, but what should we do." And in so many areas of our life, we can do so many things, and we can indeed choose not to do so many things. And yet, the question is, what should we do? I posted something on my Facebook page earlier this week that spoke about a pause, not a lockdown, a protected pause. And we continue in this time. And I want to appeal to you, just as over the generations, many families, many individuals have had to forgive in their hearts the atrocities that occurred in the world wars, the things that happened to their family. In order to live on and live to the very best, they had to let those things go. Are there things for us that perhaps in these days we need to let go of? Are there relationships that we need to restore? Are there things that need to be forgiven and let go of? There is never such a better day than to consider those things than this Remembrance Sunday. And I urge you, and I appeal to you in these days where we have more time to think, more time to consider, more time to plan, may we seek God in all that we do and seek his way even when it's hard for us. He walks with us and he will show us the way. Paul spoke many great words to the various churches of the New Testament. And I want to share with you as we close words that he greeted with the church in Philippi with at the beginning of that letter. And he says this: I thank my God every time I remember you. In all my prayers for all of you, I always pray with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in us, in you, will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. As we remember today, may we remember the journeys that we all started out on many years ago. Circumstances of life, upsets will have occurred, but may this be a time of peace. May this be a time when we can make peace with ourselves and with each other. In these days, it's not about what we can do, but what should we do? And my question I leave with you is, what should you be doing just now? May God bless you each.